So the plot, shall we say, of the disappearing Times article, of course, involving Boris Johnson's current wife, or at least the person he was having an affair with at that time, um, continues to thicken, and thicken in probably one of the most interesting ways of possible. Because in this case, the thickener himself, the master dipper, I suppose, Dominic Cummings, has come in and not only said what the Times article says is not only true, but it misses out other stuff. And that truth is even far, far worse. And that the unreported stuff, is just even more juicier stuff. So this is very much a scandal that has yet to, shall we say, be cooked. The goose has not yet ripened. It has not got that goldeny brown goodness yet. It is not yet time to carve this particular turkey. It is time to wait and see what happens in this case. But as always, with Dominic Cummings, be prepared to take stuff with a grain of salt. It's not that he, shall we say, isn't saying what he is truthful, but it is worth bearing in mind that he does have an axe to grind in this certain case, certainly against Boris Johnson, and almost certainly against, of course, Carrie, or what was his nickname he gave her, Princess something? Was it Princess Nut Nut or something like that? He called her as a nickname. So take this with a grain of salt. And as they always say, trust but verify. So anything we go into here, or certainly we cover in this in sort of today's article that we're going over, take it with a grain of salt, because Cummings certainly has an axe to grind against both Boris and Carrie. So take that and keep that in mind as we go forward. But as always, before we go diving into that, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, there are the YouTube subscriptions situations that are now up. Where you can hit the thank you button, or there is the subscription button where if you subscribe to the channel that way, you can get all kinds of interesting bells and whistles and buttons and badges that you can have on the channel. So as always, thank you very much to all those people, and on with this. So the article today, or these comments that Cummings has made, comes from the London Economic today, with the title of "Cummings says that the spiked Times article is accurate and the truth is worse." So the question is, I suppose everyone is really asking, how much worse is the truth? Because Boris Johnson is not just, as we always say, up to his neck in scandal. Boris Johnson is well below the waterline and is taking on water pretty fast in this case. So the question is, and should be really asked, is just how much worse is this going to be? Is this just going to be another scandal on top of the already other scandals that we have? And remember, I think we are past the point of the scandal that broke the camel's back. I think Partygate almost certainly was that straw. And of course, that in itself is far from over, with the Committee on Standards investigation coming up very quickly as well. So let's dive in to see what Cummings had to say. So, allegations that Boris Johnson offered Carrie Salmons a lucrative job in the Foreign Office are accurate, according to the PM's former aide, who said the truth is worse. This weekend, the Sunday Times spiked an article by Simon Walters concerning a highly paid position offered to the Prime Minister's wife during his time as Foreign Secretary. The story appeared in the first editions of the newspaper, but then was replaced by a story about the European Court of Human Rights judges when the second editions were sent out. Alistair Campbell branded the cover-up as the death of journalism in the UK, taking a swipe at the right-wing papers who will make excuses for Johnson's crimes. Walters, that's the guy who wrote the article, who also has spoken out, saying that he stands by the story 100%. Talking to the New European, he said, I was in a lengthy and detailed communication with Number 10 at the high level. Ben Gascoigne and Mrs. Johnson's spokeswoman for up to at least 48 hours before the papers went to press. At no point did any of them offer an on-the-record denial of any element of the story. Dominic Cummings took to Twitter to give his view on the matter. He said the missing story is, quote, is true, and that the Times is, quote, pathetic to have pulled it. The PM's former aide also said that Johnson tried to appoint Salmons to a government job in the third quarter of 2020 when he was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So this is with a particular tweet of it, saying the, quote, missing story pulled by the Times after Number 10 called Friday night is true. Walters repeatedly published accurate stories, e.g., on illegal donations. Times pathetic to have folded. She'd reversed ferret. I think that's she'd reversed ferret. I think that's what he's saying. Truth is worse. Emoji of a shopping cart. Wanted to, I think that's Boris. Basically, I was responding to him. Wanted to appoint girlfriend to government job in third quarter of 2022. So this, I think, is going to rumble on. And I think it's going to continue to rumble on very much so, because you've got, not only, as we saw there, the reporter saying, look, I am 100% going to stand by this story. I was on calls with, the Prime Minister's wife and her, press relations secretary about this. What has happened here? Now, there are rumors flying around, of course, that there has been a super injunction put in place. At the moment, I don't even know if we can confirm whether or not that is true. But nevertheless, this is bizarre how this story has been pulled. I think Alistair Campbell makes a very, very good point that the right-wing press has not only killed journalism in the UK, but it raises serious questions about how powerful Number 10 is and what may be the threats that maybe have gone on. Of course, there might have been a super junction gone in there. This is really two stories. You've got, of course, the Johnson offering, his then at the time, or now his wife this job. We've got another accusation from Cummings saying that he offered her a job in the government again when he was Prime Minister. And we've also got the story of the fact that this story has been completely pulled by the Times. For what reason, we still do not know. But who can say, who knows, but needs to say, this is yet another scandal now in the works. And of course, Dominic Cummings coming out and giving his to Pennything. And of course, as we said at the beginning, we can trust, obviously, up to a certain extent, but we have to remember he has an axe to grind against both those people. So we should take, of course, his statements with a grain of salt and, trust but verify. But he is a man who was literally on the shoulder of Boris Johnson. He saw how Boris Johnson worked. He was in the thick of it. Not Malcolm Tucker, of course, but he was in the thick of it, getting to see where all the skeletons were buried, where all the closets are with the skeletons in them. He knows them, and he has threatened several times to say, look, I know a ton of stuff that hasn't even been reported yet. So who knows which way this, both these stories, in which direction these are both going to go. But needless to say, we will keep an eye on what's going to happen here and how this, indeed all turns out. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a notification link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, we'll see you all